Hi everybody, I want to talk directly about insinuation. Insinuation, I had a viewer ask about it, and I went scrolling back through my videos to give them a link to it, and I realized I don't really have a video that calls it out specifically by name. I have talked about it in the past, sort of as an ancillary topic. So, a previous video that I did on the Michael Cohen testimony, when Michael Cohen went back to Congress to testify about life behind the scenes with Donald Trump, I talked about insinuation there. And we all sort of know what insinuation is, but I think in terms of a manipulation tactic and in terms of a tactic in general, I think it generally flies under the radar. So when you insinuate something, the way it works, it's a form of manipulation that gets somebody else to do something that you want them to do without you directly telling them you want them to do it. And it ultimately, they end up doing it believing that it's their idea and that it's a good idea and that they're happy and proud of this idea. But ultimately it was your idea because you planted the seed. So it's like planting a little worm in somebody's brain. It's a little seed of an idea. And when you insinuate something, it is ever so lightweight, ever so innocent, that it just doesn't go down in your head as being a tactic. So I'll give you a good example. You ladies, a guy walks up to a woman and says, "Oh, hey, I like what you did with your hair today. Sorry, I'm not trying to be creepy. Just it looks really good. It's nice." Or if a girl cuts her hair, or dyes her hair, or does something different with her hair, and you go and you casually compliment it. You say, "Hey, did you get a new haircut? Did you do something different with your hair?" Something's different, right? Now here's the thing. The girl you're talking to is not the target. The girl standing next to her is the target, the one not being spoken to. See how that works? So, if you find a girl who recently changed her hair, did something with her hair, and even then, this still works even if the one being spoken to did nothing different. If they did nothing different, this will also work. Because they'll be like, "No, I didn't really do anything different. I used a blow dryer," right? But the girl being spoken to is not the target. It's the girl standing next to her. You want to see if a girl's into you, all you got to do is just compliment another girl within earshot. And then you watch how this girl's, the target girl, the one who's actually not being spoken to, you observe her behavior over the next few days. Does she come to work with her hair all different? Blow dried, looking nice? Does she take extra time in the mornings now? Does she come up and talk to you at the coffee maker? If she does, then you know she's kind of sort of interested in you and that she wants your attention. That's how insinuation works. Another good example, you ladies know this one, the way insinuation works on guys. You go to the mall, you go into the jewelry store, "I just want to look. And you try on some jewelry, or you try on a necklace, and you say, "What do you think? Doesn't this look pretty? Doesn't this look pretty on my finger? I think this looks pretty on my finger." Right? And you say, "Well, yeah, okay, put it back, we can't afford it." And they're like, I know, I just wanted to try." Right? Now, you know damn well that he's probably not going to buy you something right then, right there. However, you know that maybe at your next anniversary or birthday or special occasion, there's probably going to be some jewelry. So you go in there knowing full well if you go in and put on a $30,000 ring, first of all, if you go try on a $30,000 ring and the man next to you is like, "Okay, sure, whatever baby wants, baby gets," he's either hugely irresponsible or he's wealthy as shit. Either way, if you got a dude that's wealthy, hey, work it, girl. But other than that, you try on a $30,000 ring, you might get a $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 ring. I don't know. And if you don't, well then it didn't work. but y'all know this. I used to work at a pet store next to a college, in a college town. And not to show my age, but this was back when Paris Hilton was hot shit, before she even started palling around with Britney, before Britney shaved her head, and before Britney became a mom. And back then the trend was walking around with a damn chihuahua in your handbag. And every Saturday there were always, we called them sorostitutes. There's always a sorostitute there who was playing her game. She would take this little baby chihuahua and she would hold it and she would snuggle it, and then she would look at her boy toy with those big doe eyes, saying, but it's so cute, it's so adorable, right? And the dudes would end up buying it for the girl, right? Because they're like, I think I could get laid, right? And true story, one of these girls came back and returned a chihuahua because it didn't match her bag. But I digress. So that's a little bit about insinuation. Now, the way it works is you hear something from somebody and it just kind of sort of catches in your head. It flies under your radar because it's usually a very indirect statement or an indirect action. It's not technically aimed at you. It's not technically a directive given to you, but you just do it. If your boss says, hey, let me know, are you going to have this project completed by Friday? Okay, just let me know because I need to know what to tell my boss, right? Or they say something like, hey, CEO asked me about this project. Is it going to be due by Friday? Is it going to be done by Friday? Because I need to know what to tell them. You say, yes, it will be done by Friday. And then you spend every evening up at the office putting in late hours and getting the project across the deadline. Your boss didn't directly tell you to stay late and put in extra hours. All he did was ask whether or not it's going to be done on Friday. And, maybe he's just honestly asking the question. Or maybe he's using the influence to get the project across the finish line. It leaves a big, firm, safe space around the manipulator. Because they're not telling people what to do. A direct form of manipulation is like relationship currency, where they say, oh, well, because you do this, then I'll have to do that, right? You want to act like that? That's fine. I'll act like that too. That type of shit. Tit for tat. Quid pro quo, that kind of shit. That's direct manipulation. Indirect manipulation is very hard to detect, especially if you're not looking for it. So the best way to identify when you're dealing with insinuation as a tactic, and pay close attention to this. If you want to know whether somebody's using insinuation against you, the most noticeable symptom is an ungrateful attitude. When they are ungrateful, that's what you got to look for. When you're dealing with somebody, a relationship where they're ungrateful for the things that you're doing. You do a favor, you do something nice for them, and then they kick it back in your face when you either don't do it or whenever it's not good enough. Ungratefulness is a big indicator that insinuation is going on. And now, I don't know if they have that in textbooks or, if that's part of the, larger official body of documentation. But that's just from my own personal experience. I've learned to recognize that when somebody's acting ungrateful, that's what it is. There's a video on that I saw just the other day. This guy buys his girl a new car. Well, it's not new, it's a used car. But they're young, they're like in their early 20s. And he tells this girl that he bought her car. And they're in an apartment complex, first of all, right? So it's not like they're wealthy, made of money. No, they're middle class, low to middle class. And he's recording. He's like, come on, girl, I bought you a new car, And they go out to the parking lot. And she goes, well, where is it? He's like, that's it. And she's like, you joking? Are you for real? He's like, yeah. The kid bought her a Jeep Grand Cherokee. Jeep Cherokees are nice, right? They ain't nothing to spit at. And she's all like, no, it's not even my color. It's not even my color. And she's like, no, she's like, this ain't been what I've been wanting. And he was like getting upset, and she's like, you know, I want a Land Rover. It's like, you living in an apartment, girl, first of all. Y'all living in apartments, you want a Land Rover? But you see, and then he got mad. He's like, you know what? He says, I saved up $2,000 working my ass off. And no doubt the kid doesn't have a high-paying job. But, you know, he saved up $2,000, put $2,000 down on a used Cherokee to replace her busted-ass car that wasn't running. And she wanted to kick it back because here's the angle she's working. Her car's only busted because she don't want to have a car to drive around and go to work. She want to be living off of him. So she'd be dropping hints saying, I can't do this, I can't do that because my car, because my car, because my car. And so then he thinks he's solving the problem buying her a car, and she don't want the car. She gonna say, I want a Land Rover. And nah, see, she's hiding, she's ducking. And so that ungratefulness, that is a major red flag. That is a big indicator that you've been had through insinuation. You know, because she's like, I didn't tell you to go buy a car. And he's like, what you talking about? What are you talking about? Yeah, you did. All you do is talk about how your car doesn't run and how your car doesn't work and how it's falling apart. So I decided to replace it for you. She's like, exactly. You decided. But you didn't ask me what I wanted. It's like, yeah, no, you just want to sit at home. So, and I know some of you are sitting there listening. It's like, well, maybe she really didn't like the car. Maybe she really didn't want the car. Oh, just watch it. She's one of these fake girls. You can see right through it. Not a doubt in my mind. So, yeah. That's about it. You know? Oftentimes when something's insinuated, it's not directly said. It's pretty much never said directly. And when you ignore it, when you recognize it, when you ignore it, that's when you get people who are ungrateful. And that's the side effect. And if you deal with people who are ungrateful, then you need to cut them out of your life. That's the solution. You can't be around somebody who's constantly insinuating stuff. It will drive you crazy. Because they will never, ever tell you what they want. Like in the Notebook, what do you want? What do you want? And she's just like, you know? Insinuators are never direct. They can never just directly say what it is they want. And you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to keep somebody like that happy. They don't want to be happy. So leave them alone. Thank you very much. Please like, comment, or share, and I'll see you on the next video.